Let's get some legal perspective now. Ronald Chapman is back with us this weekend. He's a legal analyst and federal defense attorney. Ronald, thank you so much for your time as always. First, we wanted to ask about that audio recording from Bedminster. It was included in that initial DOJ indictment, but this updated indictment now charges Trump with having the document in question. Why this charge now, and should we still expect to see even more charges in the future?
Well, this is Jack Smith strengthening his case substantially to add the Iran document. He may have added it because of the Fox News interview with the denial. He may have added it to get the audio tape that we heard recorded at Bedminster introduced into evidence, which may have had some hurdles if there wasn't a specific charge. But we know for sure that this charge strengthens the case against Donald Trump significantly and will likely allow the tape to be played, and also a tape of the Fox News recording where Donald Trump is telling Bret Baier that there is no document in question.
And this has been a big topic of conversation, is the timeline of all of this. How might these new charges and the additional defendant impact the trial schedule, which as of now is set to begin in a few months in May?
Yeah, May 2024 is when we're set to start the trial. This may cause the Trump team to seek delay again so they can get what they want, to push this after the election or certainly after he would be able to get the nomination. But the concern here for Jack Smith is the adding the charges and that risk for potential delay. I think he's going to put out his same arguments that he had before. He's going to say that there's not a significant amount of documents, that there's not a significant amount of witnesses, and this Trump team, which has a fair number of attorneys involved, is completely capable in getting this trial off the ground in May 2024. I think there may likely be some slight delay as a result of these additional charges, but I don't think it's going to be significant enough to give Trump breathing room before the presidential election.
Now, this indictment also mentioned another person, a Mar-a-Lago employee who De Oliveira allegedly told about deleting surveillance footage at the behest of Trump. Do you see that employee ultimately being a witness or perhaps another co-defendant in the case?
Yeah, Oliveira has been added as a co-defendant in the case and will sit at the defense table right next to Donald Trump as the trial is playing out, unless there is a plea deal cut for that defendant. Now, we're going to look very closely at the court to see if a plea deal is going to be in the works. Oftentimes, a prosecutor will charge and then release a plea deal shortly after, and then ultimately release discovery related to that witness. So, whether or not that defendant goes to trial alongside Trump still remains to be seen. The other person, the sort of unnamed Mar-a-Lago employee who was involved in the conversation about the boss and deleting tapes, that person will likely be a witness taking the witness stand against Donald Trump at trial to discuss the fact that Donald Trump wanted security tapes deleted. Jack Smith's getting into this territory so that he can prove the most important part of the case, and that is knowledge. He needs to prove that Donald Trump knew that there were classified documents there and that it was wrongful to have those. Ordering his employees to delete the security tapes is very strong evidence of this knowledge and could lead to a conviction of Donald Trump.
Now, when the initial indictment came out, many legal experts already said the DOJ had a really strong case here. How much do the obstruction charges bolster the case or potentially make it harder for Trump's legal team to move forward with this?
Well, when you are, and we're in unprecedented territory here, but when you're indicting a former president of the United States, you've got to throw everything that you possibly can. It's possible that we may have some jurors who still favor Donald Trump regardless. We know that we have a judge who may be slightly leaning in a Donald Trump direction, although I think she's been fair so far during these proceedings. But you've got to do everything you can. And I think that's what Jack Smith is trying to do with these additional charges. And the other reason, as I mentioned before, that he's adding this new information is so that he can prove that one most important aspect of the case and make sure that he has evidence to get around every single one of Donald Trump's defenses. His main defenses, at least that he's played off in the press, are that I didn't have documents and that I didn't know. And these two additional pieces of evidence, the deletion of the security tapes, as well as the denial of the Iran attack document, let's call it, is very strong evidence leaning in the government's favor, and it's going to be very helpful to the prosecutor.
Yeah, as you said, unprecedented times. We continue seeing more and more of that as this unfolds. Federal defense attorney Ronald Chapman, thank you again for your time and perspective.
Thank you.